The Eagles played football last night, and we're going to talk all about the preseason game. Stocks rising, stocks falling. Who impressed us and who depressed us last night during that Eagles preseason game. We're also going to talk about Weston Wilson and his cycle for the Phillies last night. Feed me more Wilson. Trending in the AM, we are live, taking all your thoughts and opinions in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill, whichever platform you're watching. Please get interactive with the show, but most importantly, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe or follow button, retweet wherever you're watching. If you're watching on Twitter, click the video box to open up the chat box. This show, your show, the People's Morning Show. We are live talking Eagles preseason game number 2. Weston Wilson with the cycle last night. We got lots to talk about today, so the only way to get everybody a chance to get interactive show is if you hit that like, subscribe, follow, and drop your comments. The only place, the only show where your comments actually matter. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me at Beard of Knowledge on all social media platforms. If you find me there, that's how you find me, guys. It's Friday. It's football Friday. The Eagles played a preseason game last night. A barn burner of a 14-13 score. And there's some good, some bad, some ugly, some pretty. A little bit of everything we got from last night's Eagles game. So we are going to dive into it. All those that impressed us, all those that depressed us, a little bit of everything we will get into from the game, who played, who didn't, all the details we'll talk about. I want all your honest opinions on last night's game, because I think there's a lot of honest conversations we've got to have from last night's game. So that's part one. Part two, if anybody wants to talk about it, yes, we will talk about the Phillies, a second win. They win tonight. Oh, might have a winning streak. It's been done before. But most importantly from last night's game, the great story, Weston Wilson getting a cycle. Wow, he's only been in the bigs for like 25, 30 games, and he's already got a cycle. Joining the ranks in my lifetime of Greg Jeffries, David Bell, and JT Realmuto as the only 4 in my lifetime to get the cycle. So that's on the agenda as well. Good morning, Lil G. How you doing? Hope you're well this morning. Mike, I don't trust this pitching staff. Philly's got some pitching issues still, for sure, without a doubt. Nakobe Dean played well. Look, I actually, Rick, want to start, and I checked out the first 15 or so minutes of your last podcast. It's not just a football podcast. It's a beer podcast. And I love beer podcasts. I love beer talk. I absolutely do. So that was awesome. Good stuff there, my man. We got the first thing, impressed, stock rising, that I would feel comfortable talking about is Nakobe Dean, but also the linebacker group as a whole. There might be an argument to be made. I made a joke. It was after last week's preseason game. In 2025, your starting linebackers for the Philadelphia Eagles will be Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That was a joke I made, kind of, sort of, having this hope and hype that this Eagles team, would, move on after one quick year. And yeah, that's what would happen. Well, now I'm thinking that Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. might be the best two linebackers on this team right now. And that's not a knock on Zach Bond or Devin White. Zach Bond played well in limited action last night. Devin White played okay. Nothing special. Nothing bad, but nothing special last night. But Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. last night played very, very good football. They played a lot of football last night. And I kind of feel like I've seen enough from Nakobe Dean to not want to risk that injury because he does have that injury issue. But these guys played some really good football last night, and I'm really, really glad to see it. Our linebacker group, honestly speaking, we're used to the linebackers being a major issue on this team. Realistically speaking, our linebackers might be one of the least bit problems as long as everyone stays healthy on this team. The interior linebackers, that's what we're talking about. Like Nakobe Dean could start, probably should be starting. And I see a lot of Eagles Twitter saying he should be the starter over Devin White, over Zach Bond. I don't know. I kind of feel like you have to make Devin White your starter week one. Nakobe Dean's playing damn well. Zach Bond isn't even an interior linebacker. So maybe you start Nakobe Dean and you use Bond rotating around. But then that eliminates Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who played pretty damn well. He had a couple missed tackles, but he was always around the ball. He missed a tackle in the backfield, but that helped stretch the play out. A lot of times, the first guy through on a play like that misses the tackle. The rest of the guys rally and gather around him. There's an argument to be made that both those young kids should be starting over White and Bond. Vic Fangio, one thing I was told about Vic Fangio as soon as we signed him was the importance of linebacker play, but also how linebackers always learn to play better under him. That his system, his scheme, and his coaching techniques always bring the best out of linebackers. And I know it's only 2 preseason games against backups and Patriots starters that wouldn't even be backups on other teams. So this linebacker core already in 2 weeks is showing the improvements of having a defensive coordinator that values the position. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Kenny Pickett, and we're going to talk a lot about Tanner McKee today, for sure, Mitchie. There's an obvious conversation to have there, and a scary, scary conversation to have there. Bo Callahan is greater than Kenny Pickett. Well, we all know Shane Falco is better than Kenny Pickett. Will Shipley going to be fun to watch, going to be a fan favorite here. Yeah, Will Shipley, he had another nice game last night. He doesn't get a lot of yards on his rushing attempts. I guess it's more the usage also behind the second and third string offensive line, which I think there might be a couple question marks there on the offensive line. But Will Shipley runs hard and plays hard nonstop. And you got to love his energy and effort he puts out there. Honestly, Will Shipley don't even need to play next week. I mean, he probably will, but he doesn't even need to. What's up, Muffler Mike? Please tell certain colleagues at the network that Howie will not be fleecing the Vikings. Yeah, go Wooder Dogs. Look, I made a joke as soon as J.J. McCarthy went down that Howie Roseman's going to get a first-round pick for Kenny Pickett. Maybe 2 first-round picks for Kenny Pickett from Minnesota. Dude, at this point, after last night's game, Mike, not only are you not getting a first-round pick for Kenny Pickett, you might have to include a first-round pick with Kenny. You see that all the time in the NBA to unload bad contracts. Well, take my bad contract, and I'll give you a first-round pick. Just take the contract. Kenny Pickett's not a bad contract. He's still on his rookie deal. But you ain't getting rid of him unless you give something else up with him. I mean, pretty bad effort from Kenny Pickett last night. Fangio was blitzing like every play. Was he blitzing every play, or was he just getting really good pressure on every play? I don't know. I won't lie, Brian. I watched the game last night, but I worked last night also, and I didn't get out. We had a very busy late rush last night, so I was watching it, but I wasn't like focused till about after halftime when I got home and stuff like that. And the second half, I was really zoned in on. But yeah, we got after the quarterback. We had a couple sacks last night. Biggest mistake last night, Brian. Blitzing every day, talking about blitzing, talking about sacking quarterbacks. Biggest miss of the night came last night. The biggest opportunity to make a name for yourself came last night when Thomas Booker IV got his sack. The fact that Thomas Booker, with a name like Booker, got a sack and then dropped down, put his hand over his face like this, and go spin-a-rooney after the sack. With a name like Booker, if you do not have a sack celebration of a spin-a-rooney, you're missing that marketing thing right there, that marketing aspect of being a pro. Booker the fourth, maybe he's waiting until his name changes to Booker the fifth. Maybe if he was Booker the fifth, he can go 5 times. When he gets that 5th sack, he can go 5 times, and do the spin-a-rooney. I don't know, but he missed an opportunity there. Waterboy or Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I mean, Bobby Boucher is the greatest linebacker of all time, but Trot Jr. might be now. Correct. Bo Callahan is a psycho. Yeah, exactly. I watched Vic blitzing linebackers like crazy. Good. Look, they were in the backfield a lot. Dean was hitting gaps. Trot Jr. hitting gaps and jumping back there. The linebacker play last night, A+. And that was with Devin White being good. Zach Bond looked good plus. Dean and Trotter looked great. I was extremely impressed with the linebacker play last night. And again, I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm a gut feeling eye test guy. I don't know. I don't study all 22s of all 30 teams. But everything I was told about Vic Fangio was linebackers always rise to the top and get better under Vic Fangio. Last night was one of those steps in that direction. Good morning, Duck. What's up, Philadelphia? Stop Philly, that's right. We have no quarterback 2. Hell, we don't even have an acceptable quarterback 3. Like, I know everybody's jumping on the Tanner McKee bandwagon, and he played much better last night than game 1. I put Tanner McKee on my trending down after game 1, and I got crushed for it. Now, Tanner McKee isn't trending down, he's trending up. But is he only trending up, Tanner McKee, because Kenny Pickett was so bad? Like, Kenny Pickett was awful last night. I'm going to give me a second here. So back when some of you guys were with me with my previous network. So some of you know my opinions and have been following me long enough. I was not a fan of the Kenny Pickett trade. In fact, I hated the Kenny Pickett trade. And here's the tweet from immediately after the Kenny Pickett trade. Okay? Here it is. Over 150,000 impressions on this tweet. All these likes, all these shares, all these comments. And I think 3 people agreed with me that the Kenny Pickett trade was a bad idea. Well, now we're stuck with Kenny Pickett, and we gave up a top 100 draft pick. Yeah, we're getting a 4th rounder back. Basically, we traded a 3rd for a 4th, whatever. All these people hated me for it, saying what was pretty obvious, that Kenny Pickett's not a great quarterback. But, man, Kenny Pickett's got, Tanner McKee out there looking like Joe Montana. Kenny Pickett's a bad quarterback. Tanner McKee's not a great quarterback, but Tanner McKee is Tom Brady reincarnated when he stands next to Kenny Pickett. And I don't know if that's good or bad. Not really sure which way that goes. Bradbury was so stinky butt last night. Yeah, James Bradbury, look, everyone's going to point to the play when that swing pass, when he missed the big tackle. Trot Jr. missed the tackle on that too. Some juking and jiving, it happened. But James Bradbury was out of place all the time. He missed tackles. The first play I remember of the game, the first play that I zoned in on even a little bit of the game, it was a run play on the first drive. James Bradbury stepped up. I'm like, oh, he's going to make a tackle. And he did make the tackle, but falling backwards. I hate when people say, oh, that was a nice tackle, but the defender was falling backwards and the runner was falling forward for an extra yard or 2. That, to me, isn't a good tackle. And James Bradbury, as soon as I saw James Bradbury falling backwards, on a tackle. I was like, yeah, all right, I'm done. And then he got beat a few times. He was out of place a few times. Christian McCollum had a good game. Look, the Giants cut Jalen Mills. I threw the idea out there on Twitter yesterday. The Eagles might seriously have to consider Jalen Mills. Now that Justin Simmons is officially signed with the Falcons, sneaky good addition to their defense. Jalen Mills has to be discussed at least, unless you're comfortable with Christian McCollum starting. My campaign to get to be right and have James Bradbury on the 53 took a step backwards last night. Very big step backwards. Bag of popcorn and a beer. I think the movie theater or the bar would give us $1 off the popcorn and a beer, but not give us the popcorn and the beer, Kyle. I don't think he's even worth that right now. Linebacker's solid. So if I was grading these three positions, I'd give linebacker an A- B+ because Devin White had a couple plays. Cornerbacks, I'd give a B-, B. Something with the cornerback. I'll get into the cornerbacks in a second. Safeties, I would say B-, C+ because Bradbury was bad. Avonte Maddox was good. Cornerbacks, Keely Ringo and his flexing. Yeah, a deep pass by Drake May dropped right in the hands of a wide receiver, and the wide receiver drops it. Keely Ringo was beat on that play. But then he steps up and gives the little, look what I just did. You can't pass on me pose. Dude, you got beat. Know your role and get better at it. Don't get beat. I know cornerbacks are just like wide receivers. They're just wide receivers that can't catch, basically. They're divas. But, man, Keely Ringo flexing on a ball that was dropped, not that he defended, drives me nuts. Kenny Pickett even played better than he did in the first game and looked awful. Hey, he had a 19-yard pass. I mean, it was a 1-yard throw that Will Shipley broke for 19 on a screenplay, but that doesn't matter. He had a 19-yard pass last night. You can do it. You can do it all night long. That's the best I could do on that impersonation. Not sure what everybody's obsession with backup quarterback. If Hurts goes down for significant time, this team will be cooked anyway. Yeah, dude, Rick, you're spot on. Any NFL team, if their starter goes down, is cooked. If they're down for a significant period of time, you got to understand with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts in his history, he's not going to go down for a significant amount of time, most likely, but he's going to miss a game. So you need a strong person. And you know what? Kenny Pickett's going out there with the 2s. You know, Tanner McKee's out there with the 3s. In this NFL, you have to have a valuable backup just in case for whatever moment's necessary. Everyone kept telling me in that thread on Twitter, well, Kenny Pickett is such an upgrade over Marcus Mariota. I don't think so. Especially when you got to trade draft picks to get the guy. Remember, you gave a top 100 draft pick up to get Kenny Pickett. Just think about that. Think about that. A top 100 draft pick. Man, that is no bueno. That's no good in Spanish. Exactly, Phil. Those were Alex Singleton tackles. Fan base was red panties wild for baby. Yeah, look, people get all excited about tackles and the tackle stat. I look at tackles because I love the offensive line, the defensive line, the trenches, which is where a lot of the tackling happens. And when I watch people tackle and I see the tackler fall backwards but still make the tackle, that's not a tackle to me. I think on this very show last year, I think I talked about that ad nauseum. It was the almost sack stat and the falling backwards tackle stat. To me, that doesn't mean anything. It means you're getting bad leverage and the ball carrier couldn't keep his feet under him. So when James Bradbury goes to make a tackle, and he actually does try to make the tackle, but he falls backwards, that don't give any credit. Kenny Pickett just doesn't look comfortable back there. And what is up with? I mean, Kenny Pickett. Let's crush Kenny Pickett all we want, but Kenny Pickett is 12-10 in the last 2 years as a starter in the NFL. He had a terrible offensive coordinator in Matt Canada up in Pittsburgh, and he still looked average. He don't look anything of average right now. Now, you can be said that the Eagles' backups aren't good enough. Getting sacked 4 times. Everyone said Kenny Pickett's mobile. You don't take 4 sacks in a half of football if you're mobile. Now, Could also be that the offensive line depth sucks, which is something we can discuss for sure. But Kenny Pickett has no understanding of what he's doing. Jalen Hurts is grasping the new Kellen Moore offense. Tanner McKee is grasping. Hell, even Will Grier on that one drive looked like he had a grasp of the Kellen Moore offense. What was up with that? I didn't stay awake for post-game press conferences. Did Nick Sirianni say why Tanner McKee came out for one drive and Will Grier went in, and then McKee went back out there? I'm curious if anyone heard anything about that, because I did not. Ringo was in the back pocket on almost every play. He got beat twice hard, but see, the thing is, and I knock him for a point. Like, so we're back to gymnastics and Olympic grading. I'm knocking him 0.3 points or 0.5 points every time he flexes when he gets beat, but the play isn't completed. But I'm still high on Keely Ringo. That Avonte Maddox interception was smooth. He's too good to play with the backups. Yeah, look, Avonte Maddox is probably your number 3 safety on this team right now. He's back to his roots when his rookie year. He is your number 3 safety behind Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship. And if Chauncey is not ready for week 1, my guess is Avonte Maddox is starting opposite of Reed Blankenship. Not James Bradbury, not Tristan McCullum. Avonte Maddox has made this there. We should have like a bell. I should ring the bell every time I decide someone's made the roster. Avonte Maddox, ding, has made the bell. They made the roster. Nick Foles took it to the promised land when Wentz went out for 5 games. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, the backup quarterback is important. I'm not trying to say the backup quarterback is important. Very rarely will the backup quarterback take you to that level of success. Jeff Hostetler did it as well with the Giants, to name another one. But normally when your starting quarterback goes down for a lengthy period of time, that spells trouble overall, big picture, for sure for you. Isn't that the new standard? What? I'm sorry. I don't know. Sorry, I'm behind on comments here. Trade Pickett for to mini. Yeah. Yeah. I think trade Pickett with 2 firsts to mini and maybe get a 7th rounder back. That's what you're looking at. Pickett has 2 baby hands like the guy from Scary Movie 2. Kenny Pickett was a 1st-round quarterback, and I said it. I said it when he was drafted by Pittsburgh. He was not a 1st-round quarterback, but it is what it is. There's now enough tape to show that we aren't getting another Howie Flees. Yeah, absolutely. Plus, everyone thinks Sam Darnold is going to save the Vikings season. Worried about the defensive line, 0 pressure. Well, Jomo had some good plays last night. We had a couple sacks. Nolan Smith had one. Nolan Smith would be somebody that worries me and concerns me after last night. The fact that he was still playing halfway through the 3rd quarter. The fact that outside his 1 sack he had last night, I don't even know if he really had a sack. Drake May kind of stepped up in the pocket and basically fell into Nolan Smith's lap on that play. And who had the other sack? The Eagles did have 3 sacks. It was Booker missing out in the greatest moment in sack celebration. It was Nolan Smith and Terrell Lewis. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd say I'd worried about the defensive line. Carter Davis and Milton Williams all did not play last night. Bryce Huff had a few moments last night of positivity. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. We'll meet in the middle. We'll call it a C+ performance from the defensive line. Probably just throwing a bone. But why would you do it in the middle of the 3rd? It was like the late 3rd quarter, too. It was a really weird situation and timing on that, Rick. It was just odd. Something had to be up there. Okay, with Maddox at safety 3, great fit for him. Yeah. Plus, he could play backup slot corner for you. He could play in the box. He could do a little bit of everything, Maddox. And if he's the backup, maybe he won't get injured. So maybe he'll be healthy. But and this is not a nostalgic, call. And I'm not his biggest fan. I wanted him cut back in the day. But I'm calling Jalen Mills' agent. And I'm asking, why were you cut from the Giants? What's the deal? Are you healthy? And I'm bringing him in for a workout this week. They don't practice today. Their next practice is tomorrow. If I'm the Eagles, I'm bringing in Jalen Mills for a workout tomorrow. Maddox in this safety room looks above Reed. Maddox is much more athletic, just not as big. You just worry about Maddox's longevity or staying upright, staying on the field, helping the club from the tub kind of conversation. Maddox is an injury-prone guy. We never talk about it, but well, we as the Eagles fans don't, but I do on this show. Nick Foles is the anomaly. Well, Jeff Hostetler won a Super Bowl with the Giants, as the backup of Phil Simms, just so you know. Kenny Pickett was a Heisman candidate in his college years for whatever that's worth. I don't know if it's worth anything right now, Rick. I don't. So here's the question. We're spending a lot of time on backup quarterback in this show. It's why all the main media people constantly crush Jalen Hurts, because quarterback talk is the sexy talk. Not defensive backup linemen, not third-string linebackers, not fourth-string running backs, not wide receivers. Quarterbacks is what sells the conversation. Do we have a quarterback 2 problem? Because I don't know if Tanner McKee looked as good as he did, or if he just looked that good because of Kenny Pickett's poor performance. I mean, it's not like the Eagles put up a bunch of points. Their drives, even under Tanner McKee, stalled multiple times. Now, maybe Tanner McKee and Kenny Pickett would look good with the Eagles starters. Fine. But do we have a back? Does Howie Roseman need to be scouring the waiver wire, scouring the free agent market, scouring trade opportunities to bring a backup quarterback in here? I'm just going to say that it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we need a backup quarterback here. Cooking burgers at McDonald's or Burger King. Dude, Chad, I don't know about that. Maybe he's good enough to cook at Wendy's. We'll just give it. He's good enough to cook the fresh burgers at Wendy's if they're really fresh. I think Fangio wants Nolan Smith out there as much as possible because he has so few snaps last season. But it was our bench D-line against the starting O-line. Yeah, exactly. Look, with Nolan Smith, I got high expectations for him. I wanted him to lead this team in sacks this year. I think he's got that potential. But he's got to show, he should be playing with a chip on his shoulder and a certain edge and level of, force right now. And he's just playing okay. When I do my stocks up, stocks down, my impress or depress, it's also based off of my expectations for the said player, not just what I saw on the field. And I expect so much out of Nolan Smith that in a preseason game when he's going up against backups or guys that aren't going to start or won't start on other teams, and he struggles to stand out, it's a problem to me. Huff took a step forward last night, for sure, 100%, and even said it's starting to slow down a little bit to him. Jalen Mills was average at best in his time here. Yeah, I mean, he got away with a big pass interference penalty on Julio Jones that helped propel us to the Super Bowl. So we'll give him credit for getting away with that pass interference call that everybody ignores. We have too many Smith on this team this year. I have to put first initials. First, yeah, I like that. Love the green goblin. Yeah. My favorite average quarterback. But he has transitioned to safety. And, the last 2 years in the NFL, he's actually performed pretty solidly at safety. Watch American Underdog again. We just don't realize how shocked everyone, including Warner, was when Green went down. He took the opportunity and kept the job. Yep. Eagles not showing their full offensive playbook, keeping it absolutely, for sure. And maybe that's part of the thing. But Tanner McKee's making that average vanilla playbook look a lot more enjoyable than Kenny Pickett at this point. Rick Toby Mansell was also Johnny Manziel candidate, wasn't he? He actually won though, didn't he? Johnny Manziel had Mike Evans though. He was throwing too. Non-Eagles question. You think Brandon Ayuk staying with Niners or going to your Steelers? They're yours. You own the Steelers, Chad? For you must have some money, man. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what's going on with the Brandon Ayuk situation, Chad. First, the other day I read an article that some information from whoever, one of the big name ESPNers or NFL Network guys, that the deal was in place for Ayuk to the Steelers. Then the next thing you know, I read 2 minutes later that the 49ers upped his offer. Then I read that he showed up to San Francisco's camp with his equipment to start practicing, but didn't practice and didn't sign that new deal. So I have no freaking Brandon Ayuk, To me, I think Brandon Ayuk is a very good wide receiver, maybe better than Deebo Samuel. But is Brandon Ayuk the level of wide receiver that causes this much drama? Is he that good? If Justin Jefferson was holding out, okay. Devontae Adams did it a few years ago, okay. Is Brandon Ayuk on the Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown level? No. I think there's so much drama around a really good wide receiver, but not an elite wide receiver. And I don't know what's going on. I think San Francisco's butchering it, but so is Brandon Ayuk, and so is Pittsburgh. Everyone's butchering that. Dude, I got crushed, Nooms. Crushed. I don't know if you were here a few minutes ago when I shared the tweet. The moment that tweet happened, I put out there. And we did a whole show on it, how much I hated it. And I got crushed nonstop. God damn. Ayuk is not going to stay with Whiners. He is more likely going to be a Steeler. Probably. But I have no idea what's happening. 12 likes is not enough. This is Mitchie Poo's new YouTube page. He's got a third YouTube page now. Go check him out. MK Meets the World. Hopefully you're liking it from all your YouTube pages now, Mitchie Poo. What's up, Eric? How you doing this fine Football Friday morning? Can win them all, but a decent win percentage for Howie on these trades. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Someone was hitting me up on Twitter about bashing Howie Roseman yesterday for some reason. I don't even remember why, but man, I'm like, dude, you got some serious Howie Roseman hate if you think he's that bad. Feel like there was a lot of mutual love, and we've needed upgrades in the secondary. I hope they call him. Like, I don't know if he's got anything. I mean, the Giants cut him. Why did the Giants cut him? Talking about Jalen Mills here. When a team as bad as the Giants cut you, why? Okay. So I gotta find that out. Is he washed or not? I don't know. But if you're Howie Roseman and you don't at least make the phone call, that's derelict of duty. You got to at least make the phone call. You at least got to inquire. You have to. He wants out, but he did show up 2 days ago to San Francisco. But then he never did anything. So I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know what he's doing at all. Hey, he's got that Super Bowl. Hey, you're bringing in Jalen Mills, Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson aren't the only ones left from that Super Bowl team now. Now you got another one from that Super Bowl team back. Again, I don't love the idea. And he'd be firmly behind Reed Blankenship, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, maybe even Avonte Maddox. But also you bring him in, then you can cut Bradbury. You bring him in, you don't have to rush Sidney Brown back. You bring him in, you got somebody else there, some more depth. I would take Cap or Manziel over Pickett. Yeah, you heard me. I would take it. Oh, man. Hey, Kaepernick said, what's more likely to happen every year? Kaepernick saying, and I'm in shape and ready to go, or Ben Simmons off-season jump shot professionally recorded videos. Both things happen at the same time approximately every off-season of football and basketball there. Kaepernick's ready to play. Still wants to. Oh, my God. I can't believe we still have to have Kaepernick conversations sometimes. I think when the time comes, Kenny Pickett will figure it out, but it's not like he has thrown to – okay, I want to talk about the wide receivers. Do we have a wide receiver problem in Philly? That is something else we're going to get to here in a second. Jay, what's up? First sign of trouble and Pickett dancing around like a clown. He ain't dancing around at all. Kenny Pickett's taking sacks. Kenny Pickett's supposed to be athletic. Kenny Pickett is supposed to be mobile. He's just standing there like a statue. So you saw Medusa and he couldn't move. Monkeypox is stop. Good morning. Good morning. What's up? Mitch meets the world. That's right. Mitchie Poo. You still believe Pickett is a better quarterback than McKee? You got rocks in your head if you do. I never said he was better. I'm the one that got crushed for saying that the trade was a disaster the second the trade happened. Last week, I just didn't think Tanner McKee lived up to the hype of everybody saying he was beating out Kenny Pickett in training camp. They both were bad last week. This week, McKee was head and shoulders better. Bruce, my man, how you doing? Bryce Harper in the house. Just not very good. His numbers say he's better than not very good. He's not great or anything like that, but his numbers, the quarterback ratings of people when he's out there at safety, a lot of the stats say he's still serviceable, and he's definitely better than James Bradbury. That's all I'm going to say. The Phillies broke out the bats last night. Yeah, Weston Wilson, cycle. Alex Hunt needs a crash course in edge contain. Alex Hunt is an elite athlete with elite potential. You know what? If he made a mistake or two last night, I am not worried about it one bit. Not at all. I didn't even expect him to contribute this year. I expected this to be a red shirt year for him to an extent. Alex Hunt's going to be on the field week 1 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Say his name and he'll appear. Believe in VCP. That's right. The New Jersey Giants make bad decisions. Yeah, it's possible. Kylie, what's up, my girl? How you doing? Phillies smoked the Nationals last night, but everyone was more excited about watching Kenny Pickett. What does that mean? That this is a football town, mister. Football dominates. It's unfortunate. It's also because the Phillies have been dog trash for about 2.5 months. And yes, they've won 2 games in a row, but come on. Let's not ignore the 2 months of dog trash. It's the Nationals. Yeah, it is. Back to the easy picking schedule. Do you feel McKee will be ahead of Pickett on the depth chart? I mean, it's funny. I tweeted this out last night. Social media is blowing up with the Tanner McKee is better than Kenny Pickett. And it's like Howie Roseman was following Twitter because he called his buddy Dave Spadaro, Spuds, down the sideline and said, yo, go on the broadcast and make a statement that Kenny Pickett's our guy. My trade value for him is going down. And Dave Spadaro literally was on, I talked to Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni. Kenny Pickett is the back. He was very definitive when Spuds said that on the air last night. Kenny Pickett is the backup quarterback. Almost like he had an earpiece in and Howie was telling him what to say. So, yes, I still think Kenny Pickett is the second-string quarterback. Unfortunately, Tanner McKee has earned it, but I think they're going to stick with Kenny Pickett. Ben Simmons' 3 montage just means 6 more weeks of summer. Comment right there. I love it. Ross looked better. Harris still looks bad. And Wilson showed nothing. Well, Johnny Wilson did not play. Johnny Wilson was in concussion protocol. Didn't even know it, but I guess he got a concussion in the joint practice. John Ross looked okay at points. I would say wide receiver-wise, the guy that stuck out the most to me was Joseph Nagata. Like, nobody's grabbing any of these. You've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Britton Covey. They're locks, okay? Britton Covey because of his punt return thing. Most of the time they keep 5. Last year they kept 4 wide receivers. So that means there's up to 2 spots on the final roster up for grabs. Ross got banged up last night. I actually thought John Ross got a concussion earlier in the game. He took a vicious, I don't know if anyone else saw it. John Ross took a vicious helmet-to-helmet hit on a pass over the middle, and there was no flag called on it. And you saw him shake his head a little bit, but he said he was okay. I don't know. Nobody is grabbing that last spot. Last night, Nagata, who was with this team last year on the practice squad, 5 catches, 88 yards, got separation, made big, tough, over-the-middle catches. Nagata's making a case for himself last night to at least be in the conversation for the 5th wide receiver spot. He plays special teams. So right now you got Covey as one of the 5. Maybe Nagata. Maybe Nagata makes the team. I don't know. The Eagles need to go out and get a safety. The Eagles need to go out and get a wide receiver, and they need to do it today. So when practice starts on Saturday, we've got 2 new names. Paris Campbell will be back at practice, soon here, and Cooper DeJean will be back. That's going to change the depth in the secondary, depth at wide receiver a little bit. But Paris Campbell doesn't ever stay healthy. So I don't know. I remember when you said the trade was a disaster. Look, disaster. Hated it. I tried to tell people that you were giving up so much for Kenny Pickett. No. The best backup quarterback Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have ever had. Massive upgrade over Marcus Mariota. Not happening. Hopefully we don't need to see them. Absolutely. You hope the only time you need your backup quarterback is when your team's up 40-0 in the 4th quarter or you're 16-0 going into week 17. That's the only time you want to see your backup quarterback, Rick. I get that. But we're talking in reality, not fantasy. And the theory is Jalen Hurts might miss a game or two. Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee, in my opinion, I don't want to see either of them out there. Weston Wilson has changed his approach. He is typically a patient hitter, but had gotten way more aggressive in 24, like the patient. Look, yeah, Weston Wilson has earned over the last couple days more playing time. When Hayes comes back, you should be putting Hayes in center field and Weston Wilson in left. Marsh should be sitting. Rojas, whatever. That's what I would be doing. Well, that's a push, mister. World Series Game 7. Come on now. That's excitement. Any sports Game 7 is exciting. Alex Hunt, very raw talent, but don't expect anything from him this season. He is a development player, but he has actually shown enough flashes, Rick, in my humble opinion, with the way the Eagles like to rotate guys in and out. First 4 weeks of the season or so, he might be on the field for 3, 4, 5 snaps a game. He'll definitely be out there on special teams. So we'll see. We'll see what the snap count comes out to be week 1 and on. We were playing Pickett, so he's going to be quarterback 2 until he's not. Absolutely. Absolutely. Phil and Trending fam, happy Friday. Good morning, Stevie Fuentes. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Hey, what's up, Brad? Checking in how them Philadelphia Phillies last night. Wilson went for the cycle. That's exciting. The fact that the Phillies could do anything last night to stop the conversation of the Eagles, Weston Wilson did something special there. For sure. You know what else is special? SherryTickets.com. There we go. Family owned and operated since 1946. They are the premier ticket place, secondary ticket place on the market. Sports tickets, concert tickets, theater tickets. Go check them out, SherryTickets.com. Great prices, no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay, except for when you use the promo code EOP10, which gets you an additional 10% off the already great price they have on their website. So why would you overpay anywhere else? Save with the best, SherryTickets.com, promo code EOP10. And back to all these. Oh, my God, I'm behind on comments. I watched Holiday's over Stanley Cup game. Absolutely. I almost got thrown out of a bar, Nooms, because of this situation. Fire Waters. It was next to the Hooters at 202 and Route 1 back in the day. It was connected to the Hooters. Fire Waters or something like that. And they had the game, the Flyers Stanley Cup on the Flyers game. It was a Flyers game, right? I think it was the Stanley Cup. But it was just a regular Flyers playoff game on all the TVs, basically. And I'm like, yo, Roy Halladay's got a perfect game. No hitter going. Can we get it on one TV? No, everybody's here to watch. I'm like, nobody's watching the TV. Can we get one TV? And I got so fired up with the bartender that night. If you don't shut your mouth, I'm going to throw you out of here. I'm like, and I had the whole bar chanting, we want Phillies. We want Phillies. He finally put one TV on the Phillies game. And everybody huddled around that one TV. I don't think I ever went back in there again. My Pirates are trash. Better luck to them next year, yeah. Oh, man. Sucks. How about the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Patriots? How about it? How about them birds? Nagata did look decent. He's also been on the practice squad. It's 2 seasons. I thought it was only 1, but 2 seasons. So you know how to practice and work. And I love A.J. Brown getting in his face and firing him up and giving him words of support. I love the fact that A.J. Brown is such a leader in that wide receiver room and on that offense. We're paying Kenny Pickett to play like trash. So Hurts looks great in comparison. Oh, next level thinking there. That's what it is, mister. Ngata. Someone correct me. Nagata, isn't that what I said? Ngata, not Nagata. You know me, name pronunciations. You need to put a Pace's hot take on that one as a warning. Yeah, exactly. Hit that like. That's right. Like, please, guys, you're watching Trending the AM, the #1 sports morning show in the Philadelphia area on YouTube, the first daily YouTube show and the only show where your opinions actually matter. And the only way we continue to grow this show is hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. That's the way we grow this show. That's the way we get more shows like this, maybe someday longer shows. But we got to hit those like and subscribe and share buttons, guys. And tell tell all, tell every friend. This is the place to be every single morning. Some cultures have the G as silent, but who knows? Nada. So Nada. His name's Joseph Nada. Nada making this team at all. I don't need to tell you. Wow, I'm so far behind, guys. How are you feeling about the running back room? Davey, the running back room. Saquon, GOAT, Kenny Gainwell. We know what he is. Meh. And Will Shipley, great. None of the other guys are making the roster. I don't think the Eagles keep more than 3 running backs. They're going to have too many roster pinches to make. So, unfortunately, I haven't paid attention to Milton or Price or any of the other running backs because none of them are making the roster. But I'm very confident. I think Will Shipley, if he could continue to grow as a pass protector and if he continue to hold on to the rock, by year's end, Shipley will be 2 instead of Gainwell. But Kenny Gainwell is still the number 2 running back. I like my quarterback confidence. Down-to-earth quarterbacks are nice guys, but they don't win championships. Foles is an anomaly. All I'll say is Nick Foles' clothing line now, the Philly dad, already greater than Tom Brady's clothing line. I'll say that. 18 likes were up. How about that? How about them apples? I think the Goblin may have just aged out. Again, Jalen Mills, if you look at his numbers, his stats, they say he's still got something left in the tank. Up to 19 likes. Look at them apples. How about that? Do you like the Ryder Cup? I'm not a big fan of match play golfing events in general, Davey. I don't really get into it, the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup. It doesn't excite me like other people. It's just in the Dell, like when they got rid of the Dell match play, like I kind of like that a little bit because it's like a March Madness bracket in the middle of the season. The President's Cup, the Ryder Cup, don't do anything for me. Yes, you're just saying Phil. That's just the comment. Shipley looks really, really good. He runs with so much authority, so much effectiveness. Put him back there. Umailata, Dickerson, Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton, who is your starting right guard. There, where's the bell? Ding. The starting right guard position has been won. And if Tyler Steen didn't get hurt, it still had been won. Look, I'm glad that Becton has won the starting right guard job now because it does one thing. It gives Tyler Steen a chance to just sit his ass down and get healthy. He has been hurt for 2 weeks now, and he's been playing through the injury. We saw it last week's preseason game, him limping all over the field. He was limping again last night. He was playing well at times, Tyler Steen, with the bad ankle, but then he got his ankle rolled up and again. I'm telling you, Tyler Steen is hurt much worse than he realizes or they're letting on. Now that he is entrenched as not winning the right guard spot, just let him get healthy. Put him on the PUP list for 6 weeks. Let the kid get healthy and then continue his growth and training. Oh, yeah, we're definitely hitting the over today. Phil, I have to go. Hey, have a great weekend. I appreciate you, my man. We'll be back Monday morning. Shifty Shipley is very slippery. Say that 5 times. Shifty Shipley is very slippery. Shifty, nah, I can't do it. I said it once right, and that was it. He was actually, RG3 got fired. So did Samantha Ponder. The only Samantha Ponder shocked me being fired more than RG3 because she was an amazing host of Sunday Countdown. Like, keeping all those guys in check the way she did and as professionally as she did, she's a very intelligent football mind. I'm shocked that Ponder got fired. Now, yes, RG3 getting fired too was kind of a surprise. I never noticed RG3. And sometimes I feel like if I don't notice you as an analyst, that means you're not putting out crazy, insane hot takes, Duck. So that makes you good. I don't know if he was decent or great or bad, but he was at the very least decent. ESPN lost 2 really good ones yesterday. That's for sure. It's their own fault. Soon the choice will be Screaming A, Pat McAfee, or, PTI, basically, up to 20. Let's see if we can get to 25. We still got 40 minutes left in the show. Can we get to 25 likes before the show ends? That means you guys got to tell friends to come on into the conversation. You got to share this show out. Got to do what you got to do to grow this. Let's get to 25 today. That would be ideal today, 25. Sorry if it's been said, but all it took was a grand slam and a cycle versus 2 incredibly crappy teams, and the Phillies are back, baby. They're back, baby. Oh, man. What am I doing here? Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. Ponder was also cheaper than RG3. Yeah, I can't see that she probably didn't have some huge paycheck. Now they're going to put Greeny, is what I heard, which I'm a Mike Greenberg fan. The guy works damn hard. He's all over TV. But I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Ponder got fired. Or let go. I don't think she was fired. I do love RG3 response with the Friday. How do you get fired on your day off? Yeah. Rick, back on the James Bradbury is still terrible. Rick, look, I had hope on James Bradbury. All hope is gone. All hope is lost. James Bradbury might be cut tomorrow or today. I don't know, man. It's a shame. What did Samantha Ponder do wrong is what I want. Exactly. That's what I asked like 3 times. I had some troll account, some bot account, just constantly saying that she cost them the Barstool account. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. But, man, she was damn good at her job. It's good. Like, no offense, I love Greeny, but I see Greeny all the time. I look forward to listening to Samantha Ponder on Sunday mornings. And she's very easy on the eyes as well. ESPN an afterthought for me most of the time. Flip it on for a minute or two. Absolutely. I put it on for SportsCenter on the background just for whatever at the pizza shop. Yeah, exactly. You're trying to tease to hit the under. But RG3 does not need the cherry bomb. But maybe Samantha Ponder needs to call her. If she was unjustly fired, workers' compensation, personal injury, motor vehicle, criminal law. If you need a lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania, then you need to call the best David R. Cherry at 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. He will fight for you and get you what you deserve. Whether you're Samantha Ponder wrongly fired, or you got a personal injury claim, or you got criminal law that you need represented, he is the best. Again, David R. Cherry, the Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Just make sure you mention EOP and trending in the AM. There you go. Got the under in there. Bradbury's going to sit all season or done and done. Bradbury's going to get cut. It's unfortunate. I'm going to have to say I was wrong, but James Bradbury is going to get cut sooner rather than later. Retire. He'll get cut and he'll try to latch on somewhere. But yeah, he might have to retire soon. I don't even know who the NFL Network host is, Rick. I don't watch NFL Network pregame shows after probably as much as I should. And I'm sure they got hot take artists there as well. But I'm not. I don't know why. Because I like to watch all sports being talked about instead of just NFL. I probably should put NFL Network on more than I do. Used to call Big Worm. Yep, there we go. See, I got all the cherry bombs in for you. We hit the under again. How did Bradbury go from a Pro Bowler in 22 to 40? He hit a brick wall, I guess. I guess James Bradbury hit a brick wall. There's no other way to describe it. That's why I was so hyped for James Bradbury this season as a safety on this team. Because I thought he was smart enough to figure it out. But also, because I tried to say or tried to figure out or tried to understand how a guy can be an all-pro. I think he was second-team all-pro in 2022. 2023 was a complete disaster. In my mind, there had to be some middle ground. And he had to fall in that middle ground. I swore by it. I swore that Bradbury was going to fall in that middle ground. Last night told me. I actually honestly think Bradbury started off okay in the game. He had a bad tackle falling backwards. He beat up on that juke move. But there was a play somewhere in the first quarter where he went and made a hit. I don't even know if it was a tackle or not. But after it, I'm going to take your comment off the screen for a second, mister. Afterwards, he kind of went like this and grabbed himself. I don't know if he grabbed his arm or he's just holding it there because he hurt his chest or something like that. I think he got hurt on a play. And I'm not making an excuse for him because he stayed out there and played. If he was hurt, he should have come out. But he like grabbed himself somehow. But then it's almost like I saw his mind working like, shit, If I come out of this game now, I'm getting cut. So he sucked it up and stayed out there. But I think there's like a 5% little part of my brain that's saying that James Bradbury got hurt last night, but hit it. That's just my opinion. But again, he would have probably been better off coming out and not putting all that bad tape on film. Bad play on film. Just saying. Revis went from island to I can't even see what that word says. Sieve in like 2 years. Yeah, I guess cornerbacks all hit a wall at some point. They do. The mind is willing, but the body says different. Yeah, that's fair. He wants to be good. He wants to help the team. He wants to learn a new position. The body's just saying, RG3 looks in good shape and still looks like he can play some ball. Yeah, maybe he could be the Eagles' backup quarterback next year. Do we want the Eagles to go out and bring another quarterback in? It's not going to happen. But should they? We need them to bring in another wide receiver. For sure. Like, we can't go into the season with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Britton Covey, Joseph Nagata, and Johnny Wilson. That can't be our wide receiver room, can it? Now, Paris Campbell might knock one of those guys off, but that's still pretty scary. Now, if A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, like last year, played the entire season, who cares about wide receiver 4 and 5? Who cares about wide receiver 3, 4, and 5? Especially when you got Dallas Goedert if he stays healthy. You got Craig Calcaterra when he gets healthy. E.J. Manuel last night. Not E.J. Manuel. E.J. Manuel. What the hell is going on with my brain some mornings? E.J. Manuel. Boy, talk about a bad backup quarterback. E.J. Jenkins, I meant to say. Trying to earn that third tight end spot from C.J. Uzomah, who did nothing last night. Maybe, as long as our top 2 wide receivers stay healthy, the rest of the wide receiver room doesn't mean anything. But you can't go into the season with that. You need somebody else there. Now, you might see more 12 personnel with Calcaterra and Goddard on the field at the same time. Maybe. Saquon Barkley will play a role there. Kenny Gainwell could play a role there as well. But realistically speaking, how desperate are we to get another wide receiver? Should we be desperate to get another wide receiver? Should we just wait? And then if somebody got hurt, then you go out and you find another wide receiver. I really don't know what to think or do about this wide receiver room. But also, in that conversation, if you had to power rank positions, how he has to attack over the next 2 weeks to add to this team, I'm not sure which order. Backup quarterback, wide receiver, safety. They might be your 3 best. Backup quarterback, probably not. It's probably defensive end, edge rush, but yeah. Again, sorry if you talked about it, but what do you think about EJ? I just mentioned his name. Actually, I called him EJ Manuel instead. Isn't EJ Manuel that quarterback from Buffalo, I want to say? EJ Jenkins played really good last night. CJ Uzomah did nothing. I still think, in theory, CJ Uzomah is slightly at. If there was a 5 paces of a distance, 5 strokes difference between CJ Uzomah and EJ Jenkins in the last night, EJ Jenkins caught up is only 2 strokes behind now. For golf terms for you, Steve. It's getting closer. I think one more good week and one more preseason game, you might see Jenkins make the team over Uzomah. I haven't paid attention to special teams enough, but everyone kept saying CJ Uzomah is a really good special teams player. So I don't know what EJ Jenkins' special teams performance was like last night. I didn't notice. We did give up a really big kick return last night. But EJ Jenkins played well. Had like 5 catches last night. Made some tough catches. EJ Jenkins definitely played well last night. He made 6 figures and didn't get hit. I would take that over getting smashed every week by someone coming for the king. Yeah, exactly. Bradbury never got over, cost us the Super Bowl with that phantom. Well, it wasn't a phantom. It was a real holding call. It was. It was bad timing of the call when you let that go all game, but it still was a penalty. Plain and simple. Just like, I like to use it because we've been talking about Jalen Mills today a lot. I always say, like, the refs didn't call that pass interference on Jalen Mills against the Falcons it was in the divisional round, that play. Like, they didn't call that penalty there, right? because you just let him play in that situation. The ref shouldn't have called that holding penalty, but it was a penalty. He can really get vertical. EJ, yeah, EJ can. EJ's a very, very solid option for a third tight end if he's good on special teams. When you're tight end 3, you have to play and be good at special teams. Again, the reports were Uzma, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, CJU, was a good special teamer. I don't know if he still is or not. And I don't know what EJ Manuel's special teams performances have looked like. Quez Watkins is on the Steelers? I forgot. Quez Watkins, honestly, all joking aside, Quez Watkins, if he was still on the Eagles, if you just take Quez Watkins and drop him on the Eagles roster right now, with all the other wide receivers that are here, Quez Watkins would be making this team over Johnny Wilson, over John Ross, over Joseph Nagata, over them all. I'm not trying to say Quez Watkins is good. We know who Quez Watkins is. He stretches the field really well. But that's how bad the rest of the wide receiver room for the Eagles is. Now you can go out there, maybe they'll finally, after last night, Howie will come up to whatever Houston's asking for John Mechie. Maybe that'll be the addition we need. Maybe there's somebody else that'll get cut or that's on the trade market after this week's games are over. But that wide receiver room is thin for the Philadelphia Eagles. The problem is it can be thin as long as your 2 elite stars stay healthy. But when they don't stay healthy, that's when you got the problem. Exactly. Phil, you need to baseless hot take on that Watkins take because it is burnt just like Watkins. I don't know. You want me to do that? All right, I'll do it. My baseless hot take my Skip Bayless baseless hot take of the day. Quez Watkins would be the 3rd best wide receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles if he was on the roster right now. They would be. It's sad. It's a pathetic state of the Eagles wide receiver room outside of the top 2. That Quez Watkins would make this roster over Johnny Wilson, Joseph Nagata, John Ross, Aeneas Smith, all of the above. That is my baseless, payless hot take of the day. Quez Watkins would make this roster. It's a shame. It's a sad state that the wide receiver room is in right now. But it's also the truth. You know what else is the truth? PhillySportsTrips.com. They are the premier travel team to go anywhere on the road to see your favorite Philadelphia sports teams. Whether it's the Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, Union, you name it. They got great sports travel packages, also great tailgate packages. Unfortunately, it's too late, but it's also sold out. Their package and trip to Brazil to see the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers week 1 of the NFL season, which is only like 20 days away or 3 weeks away. 3 weeks from today. So 21 days. 3 weeks from today, the Eagles will be playing against the Green Bay Packers, and it'll matter. So that's great. But they also have other great packages, Union, Phillies spring training, but all our great Eagles takeovers things. So go to their website, PhillySportsTrips.com, sign up, make sure you drop EOP, Training the AM's name when you do it. Trip to Tampa here in September, up to New York for Saquon Barkley's return to New York or New Jersey. Bus trip down to Baltimore for December 1st. And, of course, November 10th, F Dallas week in Dallas. Go down there, cheer on the Eagles, curse out some Cowboys fans, maybe get beat up by some Cowboys fans because, that's what they do. Whatever. But, guys, PhillySportsTrips.com. They are the best at doing this. Maybe this year I will even do one this year. Maybe I'll do the Baltimore one. But, guys, PhillySportsTrips.com. They are premier and they are elite guys. Brazil. Yeah, we're like 3 weeks away, then I'll never be able to say Brazil again, guys, just so you know. Per Adam Schefter, Cowboys quarterback said, talk on a new contracts are on the right way. Good for Adam Schefter. Good for Dak Prescott. The freak is going on? What is going on with Dallas, man? But yet I saw some CBS Sports or NBC Sports person put out his predictions for the NFC East, and he's got the Cowboys at 11-5 and the Eagles at 9-8. You crazy? Are you loco? Britton Covey is better than Quez. Like, I don't know if Britton Covey's better than. We never have seen. What did Britton Covey have? Like 4 catches last year, all in mop-up duty situations. Like, Britton Covey, I think, could be a really good slot wide receiver or a good 4th option. But we don't know. And he's been here for a couple years now, and they never use him. And I'm not sure why they never use Britton Covey. Britton Covey's like the Greg Ward, who did sign with the Colts, Greg Ward. Bus trip to Baltimore sounds like a horror flick. Yo, where's Brian? And Brian, you not in the comments? Sounds like your next novel. My buddy Brian, who comments sometimes. He's a writer. I think that should be his next horror book he writes. A bus trip to Baltimore from hell. Just sounds like it. John Ross. Dak could be the new Kirk Cousins for the Vikes. Could be. I think there's a couple spots where Dak could go if he doesn't stay in Dallas. I don't know. The Vikings, the Raiders, they're good spots for him. Washington, New York Giants. That would be dreadful, but we have seen quarterbacks change interdivision before with Donovan McNabb. I don't know. JJ should try that trade. Yeah. Quez is greater than Covey. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We don't really know what Britton Covey is because he never has had that opportunity. The Saints would be a place for Dak as well. For sure. That's another good spot for him. The Broncos would be. There's a lot of teams that would probably line up. I'm just going to pull it up. I'm going to pull up all the NFL teams right now. The Patriots, if they don't sold on Drake May. Pittsburgh, maybe could use them. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Russ and Justin Fields. Neither of them, I think, are the answer there. The Titans, maybe. The Broncos, the Raiders, the Cardinals, because I hate Kyler Murray. The Panthers, the Saints, the Bucks. He's probably better Dak than Baker Mayfield at this point. The Vikings, the Commanders, the Giants, the Cowboys could use them too, but they are just stupid. Seattle, a lot of teams that would line up. You know what's crazy? We crush Dak all the time because he's a Cowboy. But Dak in other cities, we'd probably say he's a better quarterback if he wasn't a Dallas Cowboy. It's that Dallas Cowboy moniker that makes us hate him so much. Yeah, exactly. I want to bring up one other thing from the Eagles game. We got about 20 minutes left in the show today. We haven't really talked about it much, but it was the offensive line play. Now, all 5 starters, presumptive starters, well, only one was presumptive. The others are locked starters. All 5 starting offensive linemen did not play last night. So you got a lot of backups, a lot of rookies, a lot of mixed match. Brendan Toth looked terrible. Tyler Steen got hurt again. Keegan looked good. Who was the other center that played last night? Had the fumble. Kenny Pickett got sacked 4 times. Rushing lanes weren't always there. Pressure on the quarterbacks nonstop. Are we concerned at all with the depth on the Eagles' offensive line? Because I am concerned a little bit. Now, you got 5 starters, 4 of which are elite. Mekhi Becton has won the right guard spot, it seems, hence him not playing last night. But he's still, to me, a question mark there. But you look at the rest of the roster on this offensive line. I got the depth chart here. Fred Johnson, he's a lock to make the team, but he played okay. Trevor Keegan looked good. Matt Hennessy, I don't even think I saw Matt Hennessy. He might have been hurt. That Kennard looked good last night. Toth did not look good, but they seemed to like him. Dylan McMahon had the fumble, but was okay. Max Sharpring was terrible, but out of spots last night. Nick Gates didn't do anything for me last night, who we just brought in. Man, if just say Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson, just to name 2. Say we have a bad body bag type game, and those 2 guys go down for, say, 2 or 3 weeks. Lane Johnson's missed time every single year, the last couple of years. Just say the two of those go down for a game. We're screwed. The depth on that offensive line. I know Stoutland, you will get everybody ready, and some of those guys, if they're just plugged in with other starters, might look better. They might look better with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts out there. But the performance last night of the second, third, and fourth-string offensive line left a lot to be desired. Like, Stoutland should have these guys clicking by now, you would think. The offensive line looked bad, and I think it's going to be an underrated story because of James Bradbury's performance, because of Kenny Pickett's performance, because of the linebacker's positive performance. Nobody's going to talk about the offensive line this weekend or today. But I want to bring them up because I thought there was issues there. Who's better, Deadpool or Wolverine? Wolverine. I barely had to think about that. Wolverine's one of my favorites. That pocket collapsed like a wet paper. It did. I mean, Kenny Pickett's supposed to be athletic and be able to escape that. He did not. Sacked 4 times last night. The offensive line, especially in pass protection, but even in run blocking, did not look good. Yeah, Sharping was playing out of position, but he probably shouldn't have any position because he was bad. Really bad last night. Really, really bad. If you were a college football player and you got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, what would you do? Sign my contract because I'd be getting a paycheck. You really don't have many choices. What, are you going to sit out if you don't want to play for the Cowboys? I mean, suck, but even as a diehard Eagle, I would go down there and play. Hopefully we get CeeDee Lamb news today. If he is staying a Cowboy or going somewhere else, they're not trading CeeDee Lamb, but I don't know if they get a deal done. Like, the Cowboys have so much work to do to sign Dak and CD and eventually Micah Parsons. It's just, Jerry Jones just butchered it, and I'm so glad that they did. Steen's constant injuries is not boding well from the. Yeah, look, I feel bad for Tyler Steen. Why do I feel bad for Tyler Steen? Because he was playing hurt last week and this week because he was trying to fight for that spot. Came back from his ankle injury too soon. Played last week. You could see him limping last week. He practiced all this week. You can see him limping in practice videos. Last night's out there. He's limping around. He still had some good plays and some good blocks last night, even though he was. I still think Tyler Steen has got potential. Tyler Steen's like that Nakobe Dean. When he's got the opportunity, he does show flashes of the potential that got him drafted in the second round last year. But you can't help the club from the top. Tyler Steen should have stayed injured or stayed on the injured list and gotten fully healthy before he fought and then let him fight. Because I still think Mekhi Becton is going to struggle. That if Tyler Steen got healthy and got the work in, that by week 5 or 6, he could be the starter. But now he's hurt even more. And I'm sure we'll learn about that injury a little sooner. But now you're looking like maybe you won't even see him on the practice field for 5 or 6 more weeks. I feel bad for him. But yes, the injuries are not boding well for him at all. Jerry Jones should package that up, Dak and CD, and bring back football to Minnesota. Man, that would be crazy. That would be an insane thing right there. Cody Rhodes ruined the word story. Novel over story. Yeah, look, yeah. Everybody's got a story to complete now, right, MK? Why am I calling you MK? Oh, God. I just get into a groove and I don't even know who I'm talking to here. Mitchie Poo. That's it. It's Mitchie Poo. Please. Gracias. I wish it was possible. If I got a $500 super chat, you know what I would do? I'd go right to Dolan's Bar and buy a round for everybody. 65 plus years, Dolan's Bar has been the quintessential Irish American dive bar in Delaware County, 24 East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park. Great food, great times. You never know what else is going to go on there. Check them out. DolansBar.com, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. The best. Tell PJ and the crew there, EOP and Trending the AM is where you heard about them. Right there, Dolan's Bar. And guys, make sure you're locked and loaded right here on Edge of Philly Sports because 7-day a week of programming. We got Philly's post-game show later tonight and Steel Steps after SmackDown. I think I saw a rumor that former TNA champion Josh Alexander, the Ultimate Weapon, the Walking Weapon, whatever his name is, will be making an appearance on Steel Steps tonight. Heard that he had a great match last night with Dolph Ziggler. Hey, or Nick Nemeth, whatever his name is. Anyway, Check them out. 7-day-a-week programming right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Plus, I'm sure Deebs will pump out a bunch of highlight videos from last night's Eagles preseason game if he hasn't already uploaded them. So the only way you see all this stuff is if you're hitting that subscribe button and then liking and sharing this video so we continue to grow this great channel. Please, greatly appreciate it if you would all do that for me. MK Ultra, what? Yeah, the Phillies have 70 wins now. Over that, so you can't make that joke anymore. You like my little smooth little segue into the Dolan's Bar one right there? I think I did a pretty good, smooth ad read this time. Phillies will honor Carlos Ruiz before the game tonight and also throughout the first pitch. Good for them. Carlos Ruiz deserves to be honored. Carlos Ruiz was a solid part of the Phillies during their World Series runs for years. One of the most beloved Phillies. Also a drug test failure. Just so you guys know. Most people forget he failed a drug test. Anyway, side little note on Carlos Ruiz. Anyway, if anybody wants to talk Phillies, obviously, yes, big win last night. They're not back, in my opinion. But you expect or want the Phillies, we all want them to win every game. If I come on this show Monday and Phillies talk-wise, I'm talking anything but a Phillies sweep in the Nationals, which would equate to a 5-game win streak. Anything less than that, a disappointment? I kind of think it is. So I'm going to throw that part of the Phillies thing out there as well. Offensive line talk, whatever. We got about 10, 12 minutes left in the show. So whatever else you guys want to talk about. Anybody else from the Eagles last night that stood out or did not stand out to you? Are we okay that the Eagles did not play any of their starters last night? That we're basically going to go the whole preseason without seeing the starting offense out there? Are we okay with that? Could throw that out there. Whoever else from the game, Phillies conversation, Sixers, what you're doing this weekend. I don't know. Whatever else you guys want in the conversation, the final 10 minutes is yours. As Andy Reid would say, time's yours. That's what Andy Reid would say. Ask me any question. Ask me my opinion on anything. That's what I want to do for the final 10 minutes today. Was a CIA programming involving LSD and mind control. Okay. No clue. Phillies fans overreact every time. Yeah, Phillies fans, it's like they could lose 30 games in a row. But if they win 2 in a row after that, we're back, baby. Get the fuck out of here. Don't get me started on drug testing. I have no problems with athletes take drugs like steroids to recover from injuries quicker and better. Yeah. Well, Carlos Ruiz, I forget what he took. He didn't take steroids, but he took something like an ADD medicine or, I think it was he took something to help him focus, but it was illegal to do. And he just flat out, I take it. Helps the game slow down for me a little bit. I think he had like a 25-game suspension. I forget what part of it was, like 09 or 10 or something like that. So, yeah. Terminator and Terminator 2, I've decided that Terminator 2 is the more watchable movie, but Terminator was more cinematic. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like Goodfellas versus Godfather. Godfather's more cinematic. Goodfellas is easier to watch. More rewatchable. Yeah, I can get behind that. I'm not a huge Terminator fan, Duck. Never been my favorite. I don't know what. I just never bought into any of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies. Like, some of them are good action and all, but honestly, I think he's probably one of the most overrated action stars. There, hold on. We need another. You're getting a 2 for today. The Skip baseless hot take of the day. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the most overrated action movie star of all time. There, I said it. No doubt about it. I am sticking to that point right there. Overrated. Arnold to be back is overrated. There, I said it. I don't regret saying it. You can tell a friend that I said it, and I don't care. Overrated. I thought you were saying hot, but that's another one. Yeah, that's exactly right. Adderall. It was Adderall he took. I know he took something. I just couldn't remember what it was. He took a banned substance. I don't even know why I brought that up. We're talking about honoring Carlos Ruiz for his legendary part of the Phillies. But yet, I'm talking about his one failed drug test. I was about to put the base hot take on you, Pete. Yeah. Look, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is massively. I would name any action star from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I'd put him almost all of them above Arnold. Any cheesy one you could name, I'd put him all above Arnold. I think he's over. Some of his movies, like True Lies, it's a fun movie to watch, but he sucks. He really does. At least I'm glad you agree with me on that. Fangio started the game in nickel defense with only 2 defensive tackles and 2 edges. I hope Jordan Davis is ready to play the 3 technique. Yeah, I mean, look, Jacoby Dean, Milton Williams, and Jalen Carter all didn't play last night, so there is that. I didn't stain it. He stained it. He's the one that took the drugs, not me. Just saying. And you know what's funny about it? The Carlos Ruiz situation. He needed a prescription for it. You're telling me the Phillies or Carlos Ruiz couldn't backdate a prescription? He said, no, I screwed up. I took the drug. It wasn't prescribed, and that's it. He could have gotten away with it. All he had to do was lie a little bit, but he was so honest. That is 1,000% false. I'll take 7 Steven Seagal movies. I'll watch the worst of the worst over anything from Arnold Schwarzenegger, for sure. Seagal, 1,000 times better than Arnold. I think Fangio's and Steven Seagal could play a Jew. He could play an Italian. He could play Asian. Like he could play. He's so well rounded. He could play any nationality. Defensive team will have him ready. Absolutely. I'm gaining more and more confidence in Vic Fangio every single day as an Eagles fan. Absolutely. 1,000%. Don't ever smear the name of Star-Lord ever. Phil, you besmirched the Arnold. Yeah, absolutely. Terrible. Yeah, exactly, Big Al. He just needed the prescription. But at the time, I'm like, I give him credit for admitting his mistake. But all he had to do was backdate. You're telling me somebody in the Phillies, they couldn't call Big Dom over at the Eagles and be like, yo, can you give me a backdated prescription? Big Dom would be like, I got you. Just know when to return the favor. But no, he's like, yeah, I took it. My bad. Not like saying food is better than starving. Arnold was good in Twins. No, I think Twins is overrated too, my man. I didn't take the drugs. Yes, Satan truths. The Rock or Arnold? Oh man, you're really pushing me here because I hate The Rock. Like I think The Rock is so massively overrated too. Man, they might be the 2 most overrated action stars of all time. God, man, I'd really have to think long and hard. I'm setting you up for a joke there about that one. Man. Because The Rock, at least early in his days, had some good, fun movies. What was the one he did with Sean William Scott? Like, that was a good movie. Action and, it had there's some good quality ones in his early career. But, man, I might have to take The Rock over Arnold, and that's a stretch. At least Arnold used his real name, unlike that fraud. Yeah. He goes by Dwayne Johnson, but Arnold can play a Russian, German. That's true. There's versatility right there. The Big Dom phone call is fine. Yeah. Yo, hey, Big Dom, this is Carlos Ruiz. Oh, yeah. The catcher of the Phillies. Yeah. I need a prescription. What? I need it to say April 15th. Dude, that was 2 months ago. I don't care. I need the prescription. You get it? No problem. Just slip the envelope of cash underneath the seat of my driver's side door, and we'll be good to go. That's all it would be. Big Dom knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy. Damn T. Pause. What? Pause what? The Rock can only play The Rock, and he doesn't play The Rock well. Oh, man. There's a lot of Rock hate out there. And look, The Rock's movies have gotten worse and worse every year that go on. Some of them are okay. But most of them absolutely suck. Absolutely. But early on, what was the movie he did with Sean William Scott? Christopher Walken. The bad guy. Who, and I love anything that Christopher Walken's in. But man, I don't know. We may have come up with the toughest question I've ever been asked on the show. The Rock or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Two of my least favorite action stars of all time. God damn. I don't know. It's a tough one for me right there. Oh, guys, what a week of shows here. This is the first week in a while we've had no guests on this show. I think it was a pretty damn entertaining week of shows. That's why I ask you guys all one final time to make sure you're hitting the like button, the share button, the subscribe button on all platforms. I really ask you that. Greatly appreciate it. Did we get to 25 likes yet? I asked for 25 YouTube likes. I need to know if we're there yet, guys. Big Dom knows all the guys and their guys, even Pool Dunk. Yeah, Towns. Yeah, absolutely. You stumped me. You did stump me. I still believe in Joe Hendry, Mitch, but I don't know the answer to the question. Was the question, though, was it who I dislike more or who I like more? I need clarification on that. The Rundown. That was the name of the Rock movie that I was thinking of, by the way. The Rundown. There we go. I'm going to spend the weekend. Remind me on Monday. I'll probably forget about this question about 10 minutes from now when I'm getting in the car to drive to work. But, yeah, you stumped me. For now, you stumped me. Whatever. But it's good to be stumped at the end of a show like this, guys. But anyway, I want to just end this show and this week with some positivity. Just want to say thank you to everybody. Because in the offseason, it's tough. Just in general, it's tough doing this show. And I didn't book any guests for this week. Not because I didn't. Not because everybody said no. Didn't even try. I just wanted to have a week of just chatting with you guys. And I think this week has been a damn entertaining week of shows. And again, the only way this show works is with you guys and your interaction. And I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. See, I'm getting a little tear in my eye. I do. I really, truly do greatly appreciate each and every one of you. All your interactions on a daily basis. Next week, I just started reaching out to people for next week's, and we will get some guests on this show next week. Already got Brendan Deek from The Score locked in for Friday next week, previewing the last Eagles preseason game with me. But, I love this. I thoroughly enjoy it, on a daily basis. Still at 20, that's disappointing. You guys couldn't help me get to 25. That's all right. I still appreciate it. I still appreciate each and every one of you. The final boss or Arnold? I hate the final boss character. I think it's so forced and so fake. And you can tell The Rock doesn't want to be a heel. Favorite 80s action star, Bruce Willis, Die Hard. Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers is such an underrated action star, mister. So underrated. Action Jackson's underrated action movie. I would take Carl Weathers and Action Jackson in a fight over any of Arnold Schwarzenegger's characters. Action Jackson would whoop up the Terminator and then still have time to go, do whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, basically. I was slightly early starting the wrap up, so I'm not ready to quite say yet to bubbles up to you this weekend. But bubbles up to you too, Doc. Carl Weathers was a great action star and director, yeah. And Carl Weathers is versatile. He played a lawyer in Law and Order or a DA, action, boxer. Does it all, Carl Weathers. Moana. I saw the original Moana with my nieces once, or bits and pieces of it. And I crush Rock, the action star. But The Rock seems like a pretty decent dude. Like, he does the kid stuff. He has fun when he's doing things. He has no shame, so he's willing to do anything on camera. I give him credit, but he's a terrible actor. He just is. And his action is just so blatantly over the top. I don't know. I think, though, at this point, I'm leaning The Rock over Arnold Schwarzenegger at this point. I really am. But, guys, with that being said, as we got 140 people in the room watching right now, Carl Weathers was on one of the versions of Law and Order. He was either a DA or a lawyer. I forget. It wasn't a long-term role. It was like a 2 or 3 episode arc. He was a part of it. Yeah, he was. I forget which one. I don't know if it was original Law and Order or SVU, but they're the only 2 I really ever watched. He was on a couple of them for a little while. And I don't remember what it was. It was either a DA or a lawyer, or judge or a lawyer. I think it was a lawyer he was. Just Fast 5 or Arnold. I enjoyed Fast 5, actually. Fast 5 was Brazil, right? Tom Hanks in the movie Big is greater than good. What? Who the fuck are you? What the hell? Get that shit out of here. No way. Goodfellas is so great. Big, no. Anyway, guys, we got to wrap this up. Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports, live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., 90 minutes every single day, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Even if you're watching this on replay, I check all replay comments, and I'd greatly appreciate the likes and subscribes from the replay people, too. The replay gang, as Eric likes to call them. Guys, I'll be back on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, guys. Ring the bell, Phillies. Let's talk about a Philly sweep next week. Go Birds. Let's see if they make any additions to the team this weekend, guys. And as always, especially on the weekends, guys, bubbles up to you.